Omerna baba mnangagwa. Omerna baba mnangagwa. 2030. 2030. 2030. Pass the job, Sikhala. Inini nanzi owed mudanguwe omrindise.
Masquera say Mare Zimbabwe, welcome to our channel Zoom Confessions and Deep Secrets. Kanagariki kutanga kukuya panino channel. Please don't forget to subscribe. Kana uchingo garoka subscriber, don't forget to comment and share this video. Nas Mare Zimbabwe takuigira inyaya buditswa na an opposition leader and activist Job Sikhala weabuda achi kondema ma comments akabuditswa na ZANU-PF Midlands political kingpin Owen Muda Ngube muri Zimbabwe akabuda achichanda a slogan achitaura iye achiti pasi na Job Sikhala muri Zimbabwe. Mushure kunge Job Sikhala akapa a speech ku Geneva recently. Job Sikhala deliver a speech at the United Nations Human Rights and Democracy Summit in Geneva so Wednesday muri Zimbabwe yakakonzeresa kuti ma supporters ZANU-PF pamwechete na ZANU-PF officials abude vachitaura ivo achiri Job Sikhala aida kupainta black the nation in Zimbabwe muri Zimbabwe vakabuda vachitaura their slogan yekuti pasi na Job Sikhala. Job Sikhala akabuda achitaura iye achiti he is being threatened na Owen Ngube achitaura achiti he now fears for his life muri Zimbabwe achiti ari kureceive ma death threats from Owen Ngube muri Zimbabwe. Tisingaziye kuti nyaya chokwadi here kana kuti so news works yakabuditsa nyaya iyi along with a video ya Job Sikhala achitaura wakataura vachiti the opposition leader and activist Job Sikhala has condemned ZANU-PF Midlands political kingpin Owen Muda Ngube for chanting the ruling party's hate-filled slogan saying pasi na Job Sikhala. In the aftermath of his recent moving speech in Geneva, Sikhala delivered a sensational speech at the United Nations Human Rights and Democracy Summit in Geneva on Wednesday, prompting a hostile reaction from ZANU-PF officials and supporters. ZANU-PF's liberation struggle, a now long-standing slogan, Pasi naye, is chilling as it denotes political intolerance, hate, violence, and murder. Sikhala says for him, the ZANU-PF slogan is synonymous with intolerance, hate, and death. While ZANU-PF started as part of the liberation movement in the 1960s, fighting to free Africans from colonial bondage, it later degenerated into a criminal, violent organization surviving on the politics of intolerance, identity, hate, brutality, and killing. It has weaponized identity and ethnicized politics to win and retain power at the expense of nation building, cohesion, and unity. Studies show that although ZANU-PF was a central part of the liberation movement that won power to rule, its DNA is that of authoritarian and violence. ZANU-PF was formed in 1963 under the initial leadership of Dabanini Stole and others, including Robert Mugabe, as a breakaway from the then main liberation movement, ZAPU, and its forerunner organizations, National Democratic Party and Southern Rhodesia African National Congress. Historian Sabelo Jane Lovo Kaseni says Zimbabwe's political culture is largely a product of four main influences: the pre-colonial, the colonial, the armed struggle, and ZANU-PF rule since 1980. Founding liberation struggle nationalist leader Joshua Nkomo said in 1986 at the funeral of ZIPRA commander Lookout Masuka, who survived the war but couldn't survive ZANU-PF, the amount of hate and violence in this country is frightening. Sikhala says ZANU-PF slogan is unacceptable and harmful to Zimbabwean nationhood and well-being. Tozo kabuda vitaurwa na Newsworks muri Zimbabwe mshure makunge Job Sikhala akomenta on a slogan yakataurwa na Ncube muri Zimbabwe tulongo kunjuisa Job Sikhala chitaura perimo pamatuzo mukufunga pamusoro penya iyi mu comment.
Dear Zimbabweans and all our worldwide friends, I am disappointed and deeply troubled by threats against my life by Owen Mudangue. I want to condemn such a cowardly tactic aimed at silencing the voices of Zimbabwe's final liberation. These threats not only undermine the principles of democracy and freedom of expression, but also reveal the length to which some selfish individuals are against the people of Zimbabwe. It's quite unfortunate such utterances come at a time when all Zimbabweans are working hard to get Zimbabwe back to the Commonwealth. I urge all Zimbabweans, our development partners, diplomats and African Union, and the world as the whole, to condemn such careless utterances in the strongest words and action possible. I thank you. Thank you very much for this brief time that have been given for me to speak out about the experience that I've gone through in Zimbabwe. I am Job Sikhala, the surviving political prisoner from Zimbabwe. I'm a prominent lawyer and an opposition member of parliament before my incarceration on the 14th of June 2022. In my more than 3 decades of political career, I've been arrested 68 times. Normally, they would release me on bail. But on June 14, 2022, I was arrested for representing Mo Blessing Ali, a single mother and a political opposition leader who was brutally murdered. They cut a body into 3 pieces and dumped it into a deep well. By the time we finally found her, she was in a decomposed state. And for taking on a feminist legal case, I endured 595 days of pre-trial incarceration at the notorious Group Maximum Security Prison. It was the only way Zimbabwe's corrupt regime could manipulate the 2023 elections and stop me from participating in them. Inside prison, they denied me food and visits from relatives, colleagues, and friends. When I got sick, they chained me to a hospital bed despite being on a sleeping dose. The regime piled cases against me during the period of my incarceration. And I faced 5 trials and they convicted me on 2 of them. One conviction procured out of the law that does not even exist.